Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to 18th part of Real Estate App Development series. In this part, we will complete implementing the Google Map to pick the location. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. Open the location picker activity. First of all, we need to bind the layout file with our activity class using ViewBinding. Private activity location picker binding. Name it as binding. After the on create, we will initialize the binding. Binding equal to activity location picker binding dot inflate pass get layout inflator as parameter. After that, in the set content view, we need to pass binding dot get root instead of r dot layout dot. Remove this unnecessary code. After that, we need to define our tag for logcat private static final string tag, name it as location picker tag. Whenever we need to show logs in logcat, we will use that tag. After that, we need to implement a class implements on map ready callback. Now we need to implement the method related to this class. Implement methods. Select the function on map ready. This function will be called when map is ready to be used. After that, we need to create another constant to define our default zone. One means worldview verify. We will define default level to 15, which means streets and buildings are visible. A good level for city streets. Private static final integer name will be default zone and initialize it with the value of 15. After that, we have defined the Google Map private Google Map, name it as mmap and initialize it with the value of null. We will initialize it in the onMapReady function. After that, we need to define the places client private places client and name it as mplaces client. Remove the equal. We will initialize it in the onCreate function. After defining the places client, we need to define fused location provider client that will be used to detect the current location of the user and to set on the map. We will name it as mFused location provider client. After that, we will create another variable private location, name it as mLastNowLocation. Whenever we detect a location, we will save it in that variable. For now, we will initialize it with the null. After that, we will create variables to save the details of the location. Private double selected latitude, initialize it with the null, and private double selected longitude equal to null. Similarly, we also need to save the selected address, which will be of type string instead of double. So make sure to change the data type of this variable to string and initialize it with the empty string. Create another variable with name selected city and a variable selected country. After that, come in the onCreate function, and in start we need to hide the done linear layout that contains the selected address and done button. We will show it once user has selected the address. After that, we need to initialize the Google Map in the onCreate function. Spot map fragment, name it as map fragment equal to type will be spot map fragment. Get spot fragment manager dot find fragment by id r dot id dot map fragment. Now we need to do map fragment dot get async get map async pass this. So far we have set up the Google Map SDK. Now we need to initialize the Places SDK that will be used to search the location on the Google Map. So let's do it. Places dot initialize. This will require two parameters. First parameter will be context that will be this. And second parameter, we need to pass the API of Google Map. That is available in the strings.xml file. So we will get it like get string r.string dot name of API key is my maps API key. After that, we will initialize the mplaces client. Mplaces client equal to places dot create client. Pass the context as parameter. Now we also need to initialize the fused location provider client that will be used to detect the current location. Mfused location provider client equal to location service dot get fused location provider client. Pass this as parameter. After that, we need to initialize the autocomplete fragment for searching the location on Google Map. Autocomplete support fragment, name it as autocomplete support fragment equal to type will be autocomplete spot fragment get spot fragment manager dot find fragment by id r dot id dot id will be autocomplete fragment that is available in the layout file of this activity. After that, we need to create a list of places field that will be returned when we search the location on Google Map. Places place dot field array name it as places list equal to new place dot field. The first thing that we need is the ID of the place.field.id, and second field is the name of the place. Third field is the latitude and longitude of the place, and fourth field is address of the place. After creating the list of places, we need to add this list of places in our autocomplete spot fragment. By doing this, when we search any location in Google Map, we will get these fields from the location. All fields are optional except the latitude and longitude, so you may only pass the place.field.latitude longitude because the other detail of the location we can get it from the latitude and longitude of the location. Now we are going to set these places list in our autocomplete spot fragment by using autocomplete spot fragment dot set places fields pass arrays dot as list places list. Now we need to add a set on place selected listener autocomplete spot fragment dot set on place selected listener new place selected listener. This will implement two methods on error and on place selected. On error function will be called if there is any error while searching the location. In that case, we will show the status of the error in logcat using log.t. After that come in the on place selected function. This will be called when we successfully get the location from search. In this function, we can get all information of the location that we have defined in the places list. For example, place ID, place name, place latitude and longitude, and place address. But we only need to get the latitude and longitude because we will create a function that will get all information of our place using latitude and longitude. So let's create that function. Private return type will be void. Name of the function will be address from latitude longitude. This function will require a parameter of type LatLng. Name of the parameter will be LatLng. Now inside this function we will get all information of the location using the geocoder class. Geocoder, name it as geocoder equal to new geocoder. Pass the context as parameter. Now we will do it in the try catch, so if there is any exception while getting an information, it will not crash the app. In the catch block, we will print the exception in logcat, and in the try block, we will get all details of the location. We need to create a list of type address, name it as addresses. equal to geocoder dot get from location. This will require three parameters. First parameter is the latitude, second parameter is the longitude, and third parameter is the number of max results. Since we need only one result, that's why we have passed 1. Now we will get the address from the list of addresses. Address, name it as address equal to address list dot get 0. This will get first address from the list of addresses. Now we can retrieve all information from that address. Now we are going to create a variable of type string with name address line address dot get address line. Pass the 0 as index. This is the general information of the address that we have got from latitude and longitude. Now we are going to create another variable of type string with name sublocality. Sublocality refers to a smaller, more specific part of a locality, a city or town. This might include specific neighborhoods, districts, or regions within a city. After that, we have got the country from the address. Selected country equal to address dot get country name. Similarly, we will get the state of the location, but for that we need to create a variable in class level, private, string, selected state. Now come in the function again, selected state equal to address dot get admin area. Admin area is the name of the state of country. After that we need to get the city of the location. For that we will use selected city, that is the variable defined in class level, equal to address dot get locality. After getting the city of the location, we also need to get the address of the location. Selected address, that is a variable of type string defined in class level, equal to address line. We have got all required information of the location from latitude and longitude. Now we will display them in the logcat. We also need to save the latitude and longitude of the selected location. We have defined a variable in class level with name selected latitude. So we will save the latitude in that variable. We will get the latitude from LatLng parameter of this function. Similarly, we will get the longitude. Selected longitude equal to LatLng dot longitude. We have got enough detail of the location, latitude, longitude, country, state, city and address. Now we will display them in the logcat using log.d. First parameter is the tag and second parameter is the message we want to show in logcat. And we have concatenated the value of the variable with the message which is of type string. After that, we need to call this function in the onPlaceSelectedListener. Come in the onPlaceSelectedListener. After the LatLng, we will call this function. Address from LatLng, pass the LatLng as parameter. We have created that function to get the location detail from the LatLng. Now we also need to create another function that will be used to set the marker on the Google map. Private void name of function will be add marker. After creating the function, make sure to call this function in address from LatLng function. And we also need to pass parameter LatLng sublocality and address line. The parameter LatLng will be used to set the marker on map, and the parameter sublocality will be the title of the marker, and parameter address line will be the description of marker. We have renamed the parameter with LatLng, title and address. Now we need to add the marker on the map, but before doing that we need to clear the map using mmap.clear. This will clear any marker that is already added to map. We will do the code of setting the marker on map in try block. Catch block will be called if there is any exception while setting the marker on map. In that case, we have shown the exception in logcat using log.e. After that, in the try block, we have created an instance of marker options. Now, marker options dot position pass the LatLng as parameter. After that, we need to set the title of the marker using marker options dot title pass the title as parameter. We also need to show the description as snippet. Marker options dot snippet pass the address as parameter. After that, we will set that marker to our map using mmap dot add marker pass the marker options as parameter. We also need to move the camera to that location using mmap dot move camera, and as a parameter we need to pass camera update factory dot new LatLng zoom. This requires two parameters. First parameter is of type LatLng, and second parameter we need to pass the default zoom which we have defined in class level with name default zoom. We also need to set an icon for our marker options dot icon. We will use our default icon using bitmap descriptor factory. Bitmap descriptor factory dot default marker. In default marker we will pass bitmap descriptor factory dot hue green. This will show a green icon as a marker on map. After adding the marker on the map, we need to show the done linear layout using binding.doneLinearLayout.set visibility view.visible. We also need to set the address to binding.selectedPlaceTextView.setText address. When user click the GPS button to detect the current location, we also need to check if user has enabled the location or not. For that, we will create a function private void. Function name will be is GPS enabled. In that function, we will check if user has enabled the location or not using location manager. Name it as LM equal to type will be location manager get system service location service. We will check the location using GPS and network. So we will create a separate variable of type boolean for both. Boolean GPS enabled equal to default value will be false, and boolean network enabled equal to default value will be false. First we will check if GPS is enabled or not using GPS enabled equal to location manager dot is provider enabled. In this we need to pass location manager dot GPS provider. After that we need to return the values of these variables. This will return true if values of both variables are true. After creating this function, we will call this function when user click the GPS button. So we will check if GPS is enabled, then we will move to current location. Otherwise, we will show a message that enable location. But before doing that, we also need to change the return type of this function. Currently, we have set the return type void. We need to change it to boolean. To detect the current location of the user, we need to check the location permission. For that, we need to create an activity result launcher to handle the result of location permission. Private activity result launcher type will be string and name it as request location permission equal to register for activity result. As a first parameter, we will pass new activity result contracts dot request permission, and as a second parameter we need to pass the callback to handle the result of permission, that is new activity result callback. This will implement a function with name on activity result with a parameter of type boolean with name is granted. In start of this function, we have created a log.d to print the value of the variable is granted. After that, we need to check if the value of is granted is true. This condition will be called if value of is granted is true. This means permission is granted. In that case, we will enable the GPS button on map using mmap.setMyLocationEnabled with value true. We also need to call a function pick current place. Now we also need to create this function that will be used to detect the current location of the user. Private void name of the function will be pick current place. We also need to create an else statement that will be called if permission was denied. In that case, we will show a message to user using toast myutils.toast. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show. After that, we need to add the click listener on GPS button that is in toolbar. But before doing that, we need to add click listener on toolbar back button binding dot toolbar back button dot set on click listener. When user click this button, we will finish this activity, which will move the user to previous activity. So in on click, we need to call the finish function. After that, we need to add click listener on toolbar GPS button binding dot toolbar GPS button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Inside onClick function, we need to check if GPS is enabled using the condition if is GPS enabled. This condition will be called if user location is enabled. In that case, we will request the location permission using request location permission dot launch, and we need to pass the permission inside this manifest dot permission dot access find location. After that, we need to create an else statement that will be called if location is not enabled. In that case, we will show a message to user using toast myutils.toast. First parameter is the context and second parameter is the message we want to show, and the message will be location is not on. Turn it on to show current location. We also need to request the location permission in the onMapReady function. Before doing that, we need to initialize the mmap that we have defined in the class level. Mmap equal to Google Map. After that, we will request the location permission. Request location permission dot launch. Pass the permission inside that manifest dot permission dot access find location. After that, we will add a click listener on the map using mmap.setOnMapClickListener new Google Map dot on map click listener. And in on map click function, we need to call the function address from LatLng. This requires a parameter of type LatLng that is also available as parameter of on map click function. So when user click anywhere on the map, this will add marker on that position. And here select the option suppress missing permission with annotation. And after that move that suppress lint to function level. This will remove the warning of missing location permission. After that come in the pick current place function that will be used to detect the current location of the user. In start of this function, we have created a simple log.d to print a simple message in logcat to show this function is called. After that, we have created a condition if mmap double equal to null, which means map is not ready yet. In that case, we will return from this function without detecting the current location. After the if statement, we are going to call a function with name detect and show device location map. Now we will create that function private void detect and show device location map. This function will detect the location of the user and show on the map. And we will do that in the try block. Catch block will be called if there is any exception while detecting the current location. And in that case, we will show exception to logget using log.e. Pass the exception parameter as third parameter. Now come in the try block, we need to create our task of type location. Task type will be location and name will be location result equal to mviews location provider client dot get last location. Now we need to add success listener on the location result using location result dot add on success listener new on success listener. This function will be called if we have successfully get the location. We also need to add failure listener using dot add on failure listener new on failure listener. This will be called if there is any exception while getting the current location of the user. In that case, we will show an exception to the logcat using log.e and pass the exception as third parameter. Now come in the onSuccess function. If location not equal to null, this means we have got the current location of the user. Now we need to save that location in the variable mLastNownLocation that is defined in class level. mLastNownLocation equal to location. After that, we need to create an instance of the LatLng, name it as LatLng equal to new LatLng. This requires two parameters. As a first parameter, we need to pass the latitude, and as a second parameter, we need to pass the longitude. After that, we need to call the function address from LatLng that will be and pass the LatLng as parameter. Address from LatLng function get the address using the LatLng. Now hover to the mFuse location provider client and click more option. Select the option suppress missing permission with an annotation. Now move this suppress link to function level. This was due to warning that we may be missing the required location permission. But we had made sure that we come here after getting the location permission. So far, we have done adding the marker on the map by searching the location and also by typing on the map. After adding the marker, we have also shown the selected address on the text view. Now we need to add click listener on done button. Binding dot done button dot set on click listener new view dot on click listener. Now we need to create an instance of the intent to attach the information of the location with that intent. Right click on post add activity. Click the split right option. We will copy the key from the post add activity. Copy intent dot put extra. Paste the key that we have copied and as a value we will pass selected latitude. Similarly, we will copy the key longitude. Intent dot put extra key will be longitude and value will be selected longitude. Now we also need to copy the key address. Key will be address and value will be selected address. Similarly, we will copy the key city. Key name will be city and value will be selected city. Now we need to copy the country key, paste the country key here and pass the value selected country. After that, close the post activity.java class. In click listener of done button, we also need to attach the state of the location. Key name will be state and value will be selected state. After attaching all information, we need to call the function setResult, which requires two parameters. As a first parameter, pass result OK, and as a second parameter, pass the intent. And after that, call the function finish. Make sure to use same key names as used in post add activity while starting this activity. Now come at start of this activity, we will remove the mLastNownLocation variable because we are not using it anywhere. We also need to remove it from the onSuccess function. And with that, our code for location picker activity is now completed. Open the post-add-activity.java class again and come in the activity result launcher. We also need to get the state of the property. State equal to data dot get string extra, key name is state. To make sure the key name is state, open the location picker activity and check the key name from here. We also need to define the state variable in class level where we have defined other variables. We need to create a new variable of type string, private string state equal to initialize it with empty string. After that, come in the validate data function. In one of previous videos we have commented the validation for address. Now we will add it again. Since we have created another variable state, so we also need to add it to hashmap. Key name will be state and value will be state, which is the variable of type string that contains the state of property. Our code is almost completed. Come in the onActivity result function. We will also display the value of variable state to locate, same as we are displaying for other variables. Okay, now we need to create an API key for the Google Map. Open the strings.xml file. We need to place the API key here. Now open the console, click create credentials, click API key, rename the API key with the name Google Map API key. After that, scroll down to bottom, click the create button. It will create the API key. Copy the API key and come in the strings.xml file and paste the API key here. We need to make sure that places API is enabled. Click the API key that we have created now. In the search the places API. Click places API option. Click enable button. This will enable the places API in our API key. After that, we will search the places API in the search again, and this time we will click the option places API new. Now we need to click the enable button. This will enable the new places API in our API key. And with that, our code and API setup is now completed. So run the app in emulator or in real device. While the app is running, copy the tag, open logcat and paste the tag here. So it will print only those logs which are printed using this tag. After the app runs successfully, open the profile section and click the post add button. Enter all information of the property except the location. To check the address validation, we will click the post add button without selecting location. This must show error to the location input field. Now click the location field. It will open the location picker activity. Allow permission. If location is enabled, this will move to current location. And it also added the marker to current location. Now tap anywhere on the map. It will add the marker to that location. After that, we will try to search a location in search. Type any location in the search. It will show possible options. Select any option. This will add marker to that location. After that, we need to test the GPS button on toolbar. When you click that button, it must add the marker to current location. Now click the done button. It will show address to location input field and click the post add button. It will start uploading the data to Firebase. I think the app is crashed. Create a new tab in logcat and we will do it level error. It will show the reason and location of the crash. That is number format exception. Actually, we are trying to convert an empty string to long. So in start of this function, we will add a check. If number of floors is empty, then we will initialize it with the string 0. Floors dot is empty. Floors equal to string 0. This happens because we don't input number of floors in case of property category floors. So in that case, the value of the variable floors will be empty. Now click the post add button and open the logcat. It must start uploading the data to Firebase correctly. Click post add button and open the Firebase database in the properties section. It will start adding the data of the property. Make sure location information is also saved, including latitude, longitude, city, state, address, country. And we will continue from here in next part.